Hello everyone, today I want to share a tutorial for creating this notebook holder. I used papers by Prima. It's called Seashore. It's quite an old paper collection. I've used on the cover some cutouts from the paper and some sea-themed embellishments. I also created this tassel and put it on the spine. The tassel matches the colors of the papers that I used. On the inside I have here on one of the covers place for a photograph or a calendar with an acetate window. Here on the side, I have a pocket for different notes that you will want to put inside, and here are the notebooks themselves that I will show you how to create. And once they're finished, you can create you can create additional notebooks to put inside, and that's it. This is the little fun project that I hope you will enjoy making. Oops, I cannot reach. Okay, so let's begin. I hope you will enjoy it. Okay, so here's how you begin. You will need several pieces of chipboard, 3 measuring 3.5 by 5 inches, and 2 more measuring, let me show it here, 5 by 3/4 of an inch. Okay, and to wrap it all with paper, you will need 2 pieces of cardstock. This one is 6 inches by 12. Let me write it down, 6 by 12. And this piece is let me see, 6 by 2.5. 6 by 2.5. Okay, 6 by 2.5, 6 by 12. You will need to connect these two together, and for that purpose I'm using a score tape. I apply a piece of score tape on one side of the cardstock, and then just connect these two together like this. Okay, now what you need to do is to draw some guidelines so you know where exactly to place your chipboard pieces. And I draw guidelines 1/2 inch from the bottom edge of the cardstock and 1/2 inch from the left edge of the cardstock. You can continue the line, but it's not that important already. Okay, so now to glue down the cardstock to the chipboard or vice versa, I will also use score tape on the edges, and in the middle I will add a little bit of wet glue. This way we will ensure that the chipboard pieces will be connected to the cardstock really nice in the areas of folds. This is important because we don't want some unwanted wrinkles on our project. So that's why I decided to use here score tape. And you know guys, I have to say that this project is very easy. Those who don't have a lot of experience in working with paper and bookbinding and other similar techniques can still complete this project and it will look great. So maybe you should consider starting to work on this. and it's really fun. It could make a great handmade gift to one of your friends. Yeah, I hope you will enjoy it. So okay, these are the chipboard pieces that we need, and we will start gluing them down with one of the rectangles. I remove the score tape, and as I already said, I will, oops, what happened here? Yeah, I will apply some wet glue as well in the middle, in the following way. And I begin with this corner. I look at the guidelines and apply my chipboard piece according to those guidelines. Now between the this piece and the next one, I will need some gap, and for creating that gap, I will use my ruler. If you don't have this ruler from Tim Holtz, you can use you can take some scraps of chipboard that you used and make a gap of a double thickness of the chipboard. I have this ruler, and I will tell you, the gap that it gives is about 1/8 of an inch, and this is the thickness of 2 plies of this medium weight chipboard that I'm using here. So well, slightly less, but for this project it's okay. So the next piece will be this. Once again, I remove the score tape backing, and I add in the middle a little bit of wet glue. Well, not that little bit. I add wet glue, period. Okay, now once again the gap, and I use my guideline when I lay the chipboard piece on top of the cardstock. Then once again we need this chipboard strap of these will be the spines, the sides of our book. Okay, so like this. And then the last one, I didn't know exactly how many of paper I need to leave, so it's a little bit more than 1/2 inch, but we will trim that. We'll trim that now once we are done gluing everything down. Okay, like this. And burnish. And now we can take the paper trimmer and trim this excess of the paper that we don't need. So I align the chipboard edge with the mark of 1/2 inch, and then I cut, and this leaves me a border here of 1/2 inch, which is exactly what I need. Okay, and now I'm asked about this cap that I'm using on my glue, so I decided I will show you. This tip is from Scrap Perfect, and it's called No Clog writing cap. This is what it includes. As you can see, the cap itself and the lid, and one more tip, the that you can use. I think it's a little bit thicker than the one which is already on the tip. Okay, so this is how you put it on top of the glue bottle. This glue that I'm using is Tacky Glue by Eileen, if I'm not mistaken, because I cannot see the name. Anyway, it's a very well-known glue and I just love it. So it might be a little bit thick for using with this tip, so I usually add just a little bit of water when I'm opening a new bottle. Okay, anyway, let's continue with our project, and the next thing to do is to apply score tape along all of the 4 sides of our chipboard cover in the following way. And then I apply just a little bit. No, I will apply. I apply it later. I will apply it later. And now we will do the following. We will trim the corners, leaving just a little bit of the space between the cut edge and the corner of the chipboard, like so. I'm just eyeballing it. Okay, and now let's wrap it. And first I'm just teaching the paper how exactly I want it to fold. When you fold it, press with the fingers and kind of pull the paper towards yourself. Here you will have a slightly thicker area, but that only means that you need to burnish it better than all the rest of the places. Do the same from the other side. And now wrap these corners towards the inside and wrap the remaining cardstock like so. Now I just like to burnish on the edges of the cardstock as well. This creates a nice looking edge on any project, so maybe you would consider doing the same. Okay, let's finish wrapping our cover. Alright, now it's done. So I slightly push and burnish here on the folds like this. Okay, and the piece where the two cardstock pieces are connected will go in the inside, to the inside of the book. This is how it will look like roughly. We will add a rubber band closure here with a hitch fastener, and then we will embellish the cover. So before embellishing, I think I will distress the edges, and I'm using Distress Ink Walnut Stain color. Okay, I always like to distress the edges. I like the look of paper and distress ink. So you can omit this step or distress the edges of your notebook cover as well. Anyway, when you do that, if you do that, don't forget the folds. This one and this one too. Okay. Great, and you can distress in the inside as well, on the inside of the cover. I do it just quickly. Okay, now let's go on. Okay, so as I said, we will add a string closure, rubber band, sorry, closure. And for creating the closure, I need a hitch fastener. This is how it looks like. It consists of 2 parts. And I will also need 2 eyelets. And of course the rubber band itself, I think I will use, I have here elastic cord of white color, and it's I think it's 3 millimeters in thickness. I don't need a large piece, just a small piece to okay, something like this. I might trim it even more later. I will see now how it looks like, and we will decide if to trim it or not to trim it. And currently it's 5.5 inches in length. Okay, so we need to decide where exactly we want our front hole to be. So just a second. Let's say it will be somewhere here. Okay, it's even no, you know what, don't measure anything. Open your cover, and we will be working on this section. We will first turn this piece like this with the with this line of the connection between the 2 pieces facing yourself. And now you will need to make a guideline, something like 1/2 inch from the edge of your cover. Okay, and now since this piece is 5 inches from left to the right side, I will make marks at the places, let me see, at 2 and 3 inches. That means 2 inches from each side. Okay, like this. And now when I'm thinking about it, you will first need to add the designer paper on this middle back panel, and I already pre-cut the papers. This paper here measures 3 3/8 by 4 7/8. This is the measurement. Okay, so I will put it first, and only after this we will mark the places for our eyelets. Yes, okay, so I will glue it down first. And I also distressed the edges of this designer paper to match the character of my whole notebook, because everything will be distressed. Okay, so I glue it down, I center. Okay, like so. Now I have that guideline that I drew before, but what I will do is only mark once again the places for the eyelets that I will be putting here, okay, in two of these places. Now I use my big bite guys. I don't know what kind of tool for setting the eyelets you have, but obviously a regular crocodile cannot reach here. So if you don't have the big bite, maybe you could consider using some other way of closure and not the one that I'm using here. Okay, so I will use the 3/16 hole, and I will punch the holes first. Now before setting the eyelets, I need to place my elastic band here inside, and I put it like this, and then I cover it with the eyelet. Yeah, and the rubber band needs to face down like this. Okay, then the second one like this, and I leave this amount of elastic band, something like that. It reaches half of the spine. Okay, so I put the second eyelet here. Now I'm ready to set them. Okay, one and two. Okay, now this stage is done. Okay, now it's okay when I want to reach on top. It's okay, it reaches on top, so that's fine. Alright, now we can continue with the inside decoration. I'm just cutting off the excess of the elastic band that I had, and I'm leaving just tiny tails. Now before we continue, for covering the inside of your notebook, you will need a piece of paper measuring, let me see now how to do it. Okay, it measures 4 7/8 of an inch. Let me put it down for you. 4 7/8 by 12. And as you can see, it's not perfectly matching the size of our cover, but that is fine because we will cover it with the designer paper on this side. So what you have to do when you glue it down, you need to attach it closer to the right side of the cover. Okay, and before you do so, we will create those straps which will hold our notebooks on the cover. And for creating the straps, you will need 2 pieces of paper which measure, let me think, it's 7 inches by 1.5, and you score it at 1 inch and 6 1/8. Okay, so now when you before covering the inside with this piece of cardstock that you have, we need to attach those straps, those notebook holders. So I apply glue on one of the flaps. It's not important from which one of them you start, but you apply glue in the following way. Now you fold this piece and you attach it somewhere in the middle of this part of the cover, and you try to stay just really close to the edge of the cover. Okay, this is important. Try to put them at the same level so that they will be flush. The notebook holder and the cover itself. And now you do the same with the second one. You apply glue, and then you just eyeball where exactly the middle of this cover piece is, and you attach the notebook holder. Press down, even burnish to glue it down really good. Okay, and now what we will do is this. Okay, let me think once again. Okay, so you will apply some glue here first on this remaining flap, and you will glue it down. You will have a slight overlapping of the notebook holder at the bottom, but that's okay. It needs to be just 1/16 of an inch maybe. And you know, if you don't want to have that overlapping, when you glue the top side, maybe you could go just a little bit higher than the edge of the cover, and this will let you center this notebook holder in the better way, better than I did here. Anyway, this is also good for me, good enough, so we will continue. Now you apply, before you apply, you take the score tape and you apply score tape here on this spine piece in the following way, close to the edges. Okay, and you apply one more strip here and here, just close to the edges. This will ensure that the paper will not wrinkle when you fold it. Okay, so now what you do is this. You eyeball up to where exactly the score tape gets from the other side, okay, and you apply glue on your cardstock piece like this. Now you remove the score tape backing and you slide it through this holder here, center, okay, center from this right side, and now burnish. Burnish really good in the places where the wet glue is, and also burnish where the score tape is. Okay, like this. This is what we have so far. Now let's apply some more score tape here in these areas, just exactly the same way as we did before from that side. Okay, we will not need any score tape. Okay, now what we have to do is to glue the remaining cardstock down. And as you can see, I need to know first where to glue this piece. So what I will do is the following. I will remove the score tape backing and I will hold this raised. I will apply glue here in this section. Okay, and now I will apply some glue here as well. And now before I press and glue it down, I will close this thing and I will center it like so. Okay, now I can press and glue down in this middle area. Burnish, burnish, burnish. Okay, now what is left is only to apply some wet glue here on the paper to glue the rest of it down. Okay. Glue it down. I will wipe the excess of the glue. Okay, this is what we have so far. Now let's repeat the fold lines here and here. Okay, and here and here. You see here I have some wrinkles because the paper is really firm, the craft paper that I'm working with, and I have that thickness of the elastic band underneath. Well, it will not be seen because the notebook will be here, but anyway, it's not looking very aesthetic to me right now, but it once again will be closed, so will be covered with paper. Okay, so now let's see how we move on from here. I want to embellish the cover here, and for doing that I already cut the paper to put on this side, and I need to cut some to cut the frame before that. For cutting the frame, I draw some guidelines, half an inch from all the four sides, and I will use my craft knife to cut out the frame. I had a slight problem with my camera, and part of the video just didn't record. So what I did, I already cut the frame out, and I attached a piece of acetate to the frame. I also attached the designer paper here in the middle of the cover, and I added tiny pieces of chipboard here on 3 sides, just in order to raise the frame on the surface a little bit for some extra interest. Okay, it doesn't have to be too high, but just a little bit higher than the cover itself. So now I have a place for a picture that will go inside here. Okay, so this side is done. Now what we will do is we will add a pocket here. For creating a pocket, you will need a piece of chipboard, a piece of cardstock measuring 4 5/8 of an inch by 1.5. 4 5/8 by 1.5. No, I'm sorry. Sorry. You will need a piece measuring 5 5/8 of an inch by 2 inches. Let me cut it and then I will show you. I will put down the measurements. 2 inches by 5 5/8. Okay, and then you will need your scoring board, and you will score this piece on 3 sides, on the long side and on both of the short sides at 3 1/8 of an inch, like this. And then what you'll do, you will cut the corners like so, and you will attach the score tape on the flaps in the following way. And now when you fold them, before gluing down, distress the edges if you did so before on the previous on your previous pieces. This is what I will do. Okay, like this. And now before you glue that down, please prepare 2 more pieces of designer paper. This piece is 4 3/8 of an inch by 2 inches, and this one is 4 5/8 by 1.5 of an inch. So this piece will go here on the pocket, and this one we will glue down from to this side of the cover, and we will keep it closer to the right edge, and that's because we need to cover this section which doesn't have the cardstock on it. Okay, so we will glue down this piece first. Like so. Okay, now I will glue the designer paper first, and then I will attach the whole pocket to the cover. Like this. Let's burnish and wipe the excess of the glue. Okay, now remove the tape backing from the long flap first and center your pocket on the cover. Okay, like this. Burnish. Now you are ready to remove the tape backing from the side flaps and to glue down the pocket. Okay, great. Now I already pre-cut the papers to cover the inside of the spines, and for the insides we will need 2 strips of paper. One is 4 3/4 by 5/8. The second one is the same. I distressed the edges as well. Now I will center them and press down. The same thing here. Well, I really don't know how we need a lot of time for creating even the easiest projects. Okay, now let's cover the spinal pieces from the outside, and for covering them you will need 2 papers measuring 4 7/8 of an inch by 5/8 of an inch. Center, of course. Okay, like so. And this one. Okay, on this section our cover will be. This is what we have so far. So I created a tassel here matching the color of the paper that I'm using, and I put it on some ball chain. So I just want to create another hole for the eyelet and string it through. So I will make one more hole here on the cover. Somewhere here, and I have one more eyelet. Okay, done. And let me put this tassel on the cover. Okay, like this, and I can close it now. Okay. Yep. Okay, I already created the cover, guys, and I embellished it with the cutouts from the paper. The paper that I'm using is by Prima. It's called Seashore, and I was using 6x6 paper pad. So this is my cover. I really like the way it turned out. This is one of my first tries of creating this kind of layers. Anyway, I will glue it down to the front cover of my notebook, and I already marked the place for the hitch fastener that will be here. So I will glue down the cover first, and then I will punch a hole. And this time I will use my crocodile and not the big bite, because I can reach to this place of the cover easily with the crocodile too. I don't need a big bite for that. Okay, so let's glue down the cover. Like this. And I will press really good on the edges, since I already cannot press too much in the middle section. Okay, so I will use a 1/8 of an inch hole opening for punching the hole and putting the hitch fastener in there. Like this. Okay, so the cover is ready, and this is the way it closes, like so. So what we need to do now is the notebooks themselves. And to create the notebooks, you will need, I'm using, just let me clean the working space here and I will be back. Okay, so for creating each of the 2 notebooks, you will need 6 sheets of regular copy paper. I have 6 sheets here, and the notebook is designed to hold a passport-sized notebook, 2 passport-sized notebooks inside, and that means that the size of them is 5 inches by 3.5. So I'm using here my heavy-duty Martha Stewart trimmer, but you can use any other trimmer that you have. This only means that you will take, maybe instead of 3 sheets together, you will take 2 sheets or even 1. I don't know what kind of paper trimmer you have. Anyway, you will need to cut the paper at 5 inches one time, and the second time. And this is what's left. I'm just throwing these pieces away. Okay. So once again, 5 and 5, and all the rest I'm throwing away. Okay, now when you have your paper cut to the size, you can take away the paper trimmer. And what you do is the following. You take 3 sheets of paper each time, and you fold them like this. It doesn't have to be you know, very perfect, but if you can keep it perfect, that's also perfect. So next 3 pieces, and I'm holding it down here in the middle, and then I just work from the middle towards the edges, and I connect these 2 piles together. Another 3 sheets, and fold them, add to the pile. Okay, and the remaining 3 pieces of paper. We'll fold exactly the same way. Okay, now we have here 24 pages. What I do next is this. I take the cardstock piece, which will be the cover, and this piece here measures 7.5 by 5 inches. So I just score it in the middle at 3 3/4 of an inch. I fold it and then I add it to this pile on top, like this. As you can see, it's slightly smaller than the pages, but that's fine because we will trim the edge anyway. And now to put the staples inside and keep it all straight, I'm using these paper clips from you can get them in any stationery store, I suppose. So I put them like this on both sides. Okay, 2 of them are enough. Now I have my stapler, so I'm just taking out 2 staples, and now I'm using the needle tool to punch the holes for the staples. And to do so, I just first decide where the staple will be. Let's say here. So I just mark the hole first, and then I'm punching the hole. And now we just need to mark the place for the other hole. Okay, like this. Now the other side, exactly the same way. Let's say it will start here, and okay, and the second hole will be here. So now I can only poke the holes like this. Now I will put the staples inside. Okay, and press down. With I'm using here the rub-on tool from Tim Holtz Ideology. It's like a metal stylus. Okay. Now when the staples are inside the paper, we can remove the clips. What we need to do now is to measure 3.5 inches from the spine to the edge of our notebook, like this. Okay, and to draw a line to connect these 2 marks that we just made. Okay, now I need once again my self-healing mat, and I need a non-slip ruler. The one that I'm using here is from Martha Stewart, but I cannot find it right now in any of the stores. Okay, so you align your ruler here, and you use your craft knife. Don't press too much. Just cut and cut and cut, and the most important thing is not to move your hand and to keep the ruler at the same place where it is. This way you will get the perfect edge on your notebook. And what you can also do to make it look nicer is to take your corner punch, and I'm using here a 1/4 inch circle punch, and you can just punch all your pages like so to create a nice looking handmade notebook with the rounded edges. Okay, like this. So you will need 2 of these, and they will go, one will go here and the second one here. So I already created 2 notebooks, and I embellished them with some more cutouts from the paper. So I will put one here and the second one here, and my project is done. This is how the whole thing looks like when finished. Let me take everything away and I will show you once again. This is what we created today. Okay, closure, and this is how it opens. Here you can write, and then what is most important, that once the notebook is finished, you can create one more, and that way to keep your notebooks all the same, and I don't know, keep tracking of anything. I don't know what you will want to write down here. Okay, and here you have a pocket. You can put some other tags or little notes in the pocket. And here this frame is, let me see, no, it's not perfectly good for the Instax photo, but anyway, you can cut any photo to match the size, okay, and put it in the frame, or maybe a calendar, I don't know, anything you want, to cut a long story short. Okay, I hope you enjoyed the project, and thank you so much for watching. Comment if you have any questions. I will try to get back to you. Okay, bye bye.